I would like to play for you a video of Nancy Pelosi essentially admitting, though without really saying it, that the American people don't deserve COVID relief right now as we are undergoing a pandemic and dealing with all the problems that come with that, simply for the reason that people in Ukraine are suffering at the moment.
Yeah, Ms. Jacob.
I just want to dig into that a little bit more on the COVID relief.
This will be your third time.
My third time, what, ask about COVID relief?
Yeah.
Well, it's substantive. You like substantive questions, so I just want to
Yeah,
make sure
well, while people are dying in the Ukraine and all of that, yeah.
people are dying from COVID too. Do you plan to offset it? How do you?
Yeah, we have to offset it.
You do have to offset
We
it.
have to offset it, and that's what we'll have to go to, and I would hope that the sensitivities of those to any offset would be equity, would be weighed as to what we need to do to save lives and livelihood and prevent the creation of a new variant. Yeah, that would be offset.
You said you're disappointed. I mean,
Yeah,
what
that
is
is,
your
we don't have it
message-
right now. That we don't have it right now. We have everything else right now, and we don't have it right now.
What is your message to those colleagues who nitpick kind of over that?
I've communicated my message to them.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, ma'am.
you mentioned that you
Okay, that was completely asinine, and allow me to explain why. Now, for those that aren't really balls deep, in politics and follow this stuff rather closely, just a regular person that, doesn't really mind too much of this, they may come across this video and see it as, oh, this woman here is a trailblazer. She's a brave hero that's standing up for the Ukraine, apprehending this rude journalist slash reporter for asking such a selfish question. Oh my goodness. No, that's not at all what's going on right here. And I'm going to do my best to debunk that bullshit if you are someone who believes in that sort of line of thinking upon seeing that video that I just played for you. First of all, Nancy Pelosi is an elected representative to what state? Oh, the United States of America. Yes, she wasn't elected to serve the people of Ukraine. Not saying that they shouldn't be helped in their time of dire need. I'm just stating the exact obvious. And isn't it amazing how he asked this question and he received such a dismissive slash flippant response from a congressperson that was elected to serve Americans? I mean, wow. Absolutely amazing. Now, what I want to do is I want to divulge into some of the specifics that she had to say right here. So she says that this is the third time that he asked that question. My response to that is good for him. Great job, bro, for asking a really good question. When are we going to see more COVID relief? I haven't had any in quite some time, and the stuff that we did get early on was entirely inadequate. He says that he's asking a substantive question because she seemingly likes substantive questions. And she responds, oh, well, people are dying in the Ukraine. Excuse me? So let's use that same logic, but flip it on its head for a second. So after the United States got done setting the Middle East on fire for 20 years, specifically in Afghanistan, we pulled out. And then once the Taliban took over, we decided to freeze all their assets and destabilize their central bank. And so right now, 1 million children are facing famine. The massive people there are facing a ridiculous starvation, all at the hands of the U.S. government and what we are currently doing. We can stop this immediately. We can stop this. We just terrorized the entire country, and now we're starving it to death. Amazing. So by her same logic, since people in Afghanistan are indeed currently dying and facing a crisis of their own, Americans can't receive COVID relief either, or does it not work that way for the Afghani people? Only for the people in the Ukraine. What about the people in Yemen? The Yemeni people. We're currently aiding and abetting Saudi Arabia as they wage a genocide on these people, as well as starving out the country by blockading food and other supplies and relief going in and out of Yemen. Do the Yemeni people not count? It's as if this is some unique issue. But it is. It is a unique issue. Because see, this time it's not us or one of our client states doing the evil. It's somebody else. Yeah, it is. It's Russia and Vladimir Putin that they would like to demonize and use to distract as a way to not materially improve people's lives. I mean, you see it right here. She just straight up admitted it. You really think that they care, like genuinely care about people over there in Ukraine? Now, who's to say some of them do or some of them don't? I don't know. I don't want to be the person. But it's incredibly convenient, isn't it? We were supposed to be building back better, weren't we? Remember, before that entire thing got upended, we were going to have the child tax credits, which expired, free community college, paid family leave, a $15 minimum wage, all these things that were promised, lower drug prices for Americans. But the second they found an issue where they could step to after that whole thing failed, it became that. And now they can't walk and chew gum, apparently. You're a congressperson. You're supposed to be able to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 things at a time. To imply that you can't do one thing because something else is going on in a faraway land across the world that most Americans can't even point out on a map is insane to me. Absolutely insane. And it's outright delusional. And we know what this is. We know exactly what this is. They don't want to do their job. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And you can expect this type of response, this type of rhetoric to be trotted out whenever anybody asks a question like this gentleman just did in that video. I mean, that's who these people are. And she's saying this stuff with the midterms around the corner, and it's gonna be a bloodbath for them. And these are the same people who wonder why they lose. And then they come out and say bullshit like this. And by the way, I find it amazing that he's asking about COVID relief. A lot of these reporters, the only thing they want to know about is a no-fly zone and when we're going to start shooting down Russian planes. So kudos to this guy for actually asking a decent question for once. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? We're currently in a pandemic. We're undergoing an inflation and nobody seemingly wants to deal with it. I mean, housing costs are through the roof. I mean, people are paying the price at the pump. The country as a whole is in an insurmountable amount of debt. I mean, we got student debt, we got car debt, we got mortgage debt, we got credit card debt. It's too much. They can't take anymore. And when these idiotic people, these insanely corrupt people are asked, well, how do you want to try to alleviate some of these problems? Oh, deflect. Ukraine. I'm sorry, you can't have health care because people in Ukraine are dying. I'm sorry, I know you can't afford your insulin and you might die because you can't get it, but people in Ukraine are suffering right now. I'm sorry, I know you don't make enough money to live. No, the federal minimum wage still isn't a living wage. It's only $7.25, but you gotta think about it, bro. Homeboy in Ukraine is really going through it right now. And look, condolences to the people in Ukraine. My heart bleeds for them. But this isn't one of those things where you drop everything and say, all right, we can't improve the country here at home because of so-and-so. It's idiotic to think anything otherwise. Look, I want to add this in here at the end, and I truly don't mean a whole lot by this, or maybe I do, but just take this with a grain of salt. If we really want to go by death count, which is what Nancy Pelosi is basically presupposing here with her statement, well, people are dying in Ukraine right now. Well, as that reporter outlined, we're currently in a pandemic. How many people have died due to this pandemic? Over 970,000 are the last estimate number I could find in regards to deaths. Now, we know the number is well over 1 million. There are many people that have been unaccounted for and so on. But if we really want to go by death count and we're comparing the number of dead bodies left in the wake of the pandemic versus the war in Ukraine, I think we have a very obvious winner here, don't we? Now, before the pandemic, as I stated previously, people weren't doing very well. All this pandemic really did was take our existing problems and make them much worse. So if we're actually comparing situations, well, I would say that the American people have a very good claim to fame in order who gets to come first in line to receive some kind of relief.